Shorty's December edition.
Yeah.
Hi. So it's finally cold here.
Oh,
my
I'm
God.
freezing.
I turned on my heater yesterday. I was like,
my heater's been on.
I cannot handle. I usually wait because I'm like, it's not really that cold in
Your
LA.
place stays pretty warm.
You can get under blankets, like it's fine. But yesterday I was like, I'm actually freezing to death. And then I remembered that the entire country is going through like this massive cold snap right now. And I'm like, it's not that bad. Actually, it's not that bad.
On Thanksgiving, I pulled up this map. I was looking at like precipitation because they were talking about like everything's getting like covered in either snow or rain. Like the precipitation is pretty much all over the US. So I pulled up this map and I showed Chris and I'm like, what two places would you imagine don't ever not see some type of precipitation? The only two places in the US that weren't like covered on this map were like Seattle, Washington, and like Florida.
Weird,
It was wild.
bizarre, because it was raining here.
Yeah.
It rained here, which I was kind of bummed out about because usually, brag, on Thanksgiving we can go outside and like throw around cornhole and it's kind of warm. And this year I was like, oh, there's no way. It's like rainy and cold outside. So
Yeah.
So yeah. It's kind of giving me in the holiday spirit, though. I kind of like having the heat on in my apartment, actually.
I put my tree up yesterday.
Aww.
I had a hot toddy. I put my tree up. I was like hanging up ornaments. It was lovely.
Nice.
Have the cats gotten into it already?
Oh yeah. I mean, they were doing it while I was putting it up. And every year Anthony's like, maybe we just shouldn't put a tree up or we should do this or that. And I'm like, no, it's going up. And we're just going to have to deal. Although I do not put ornaments on the last
row.
Rung of the tree. Just to stop that from happening as much as possible.
What is Chuck going to do with your tree?
Oh, we're not doing a tree.
Oh, I was just going to say, he would fuck that shit up.
I'm in the most bah humbug, but not having kids and being the only person who really would do it, I'm just like, meh, I don't need it. It's fine.
Yeah.
I think... I know it's very bah humbug of me, but I'm also too with a brand new cat this year. Chuck would fucking wreck that tree.
Wreck it,
that
Ralph.
tree would be down every single night we came home. He is a wily son of a bitch.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
Aw.
Wild man leather and lace over there.
Yeah.
Luckily, my cats have not knocked the tree down ever. And like we have a little skinny tree and Hicks weighs probably about half as much as our tree weighs.
Yeah,
I would say more.
And he's never knocked it down, but they do like to sit and like bat. And when you're putting up the tree, it's the most amazing thing. They do have like baby Yoda eyes. Like their eyes get so big and black and their like lights are reflecting in them. And you're like, oh my God, they're going to fuck this thing up so bad.
They're like, yes, my favorite time of the year.
Wait till you're done so I can eat it. Oh, man.
Oh.
Do we have a festive would you rather?
Okay. Would you rather have Christmas tree tinsel for hair or have fingernails that light up like Christmas lights?
Oh my God, light up fingernails.
I think so too, right?
Oh,
You can be a trendsetter with that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God.
Although,
yeah.
do you guys remember, Cassie, you probably do, there was a period of time when I worked in a salon in like the mid to late 2000s. And there was a trend of tinsel, like extensions. Did you guys have that?
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
where they were like heat resistant so you could curl them and straighten them and shit.
Yes.
So if you wanted your hair to kind of shimmer a little bit.
You get like little... They would tie into your... Oh, God.
Ew.
Yeah, they were like really thin.
It was like right after the feather trend.
Yeah.
And that feather trend hung on way too long. I remember riding around with reps. All we did was sell fucking feathers all day long. It was the fucking craziest shit you've ever seen.
Well, if I'm honest, that entire time period was just like a what the fuck. That whole time period.
So true.
It was so many like beads and feathers and leather strings for no fucking reason all
your
over
hair.
clothing.
It was Steven Tyler went on American Idol that year, and it was like everybody wanted fucking feathers in their hair all of a sudden. It was.
I hate it.
It's a no
I
thanks
don't
for
know
me.
if I hate feathers or tinsel in the hair more.
I'm gonna go with both. I definitely hate tinsel. I think more.
Well, here's the thing. I could see doing it because I remember how it looked. And if you had like blonde hair and you were doing gold tinsel, then you almost couldn't see it unless you were like moving. I could see doing that for like a holiday party or something like that. Just not for life. Feathers in the hair is more like people unironically wore that shit around.
Oh, yeah.
Like And to me,
daily.
I was just like, what are you doing? So I'd have to go tinsel over feathers.
The freaking the I'm still stuck on the light up fingernails. Like I just am thinking of all the things you can do. You could like type in the dark.
Oh my God.
I just want to know what that looks like when you're getting fingered with light up fingernails. Do you know what I mean? Like, do you see it?
Yes.
Does it glow from underneath? You know what I mean? Did you
How
ever stick
strong of a light up is it?
Yeah. Did you ever stick a flashlight in your mouth and like
Yeah.
puff out your cheeks and you could see like the veins in your cheek? It looked like a lantern on
Yeah.
the inside. Like, what
is that?
I have questions.
Yeah. How powerful are these lights that are happening? Do you know? And
Can
we're
you
talking
turn them
about
off?
It.
Because
Yeah.
I would never sleep. I'd be like,
Oh, yeah, that's true.
it would drive me
Oh.
crazy.
Also, yeah, what colors could they change?
Yeah.
Could they be like
Can they-
green
can we make
and
them
red for
flash?
Christmas, and then
Well, what are you guys whenever you do put a tree up? Are you classic white lights?
Classic
Oh,
Are
I'm
you-
white lights.
I'm classic white lights too.
Yeah.
Yeah, none of that multicolored shit happening. Or like I used to have when I was a kid, we had the lights
big
with
bulbs.
I love the big bulbs.
Yeah.
But when I was a kid, we used to have the little bulbs, but we had the lights that had the button on them that you could,
Yes.
it would do different things. It would either like flash
Yep.
Yeah.
or it would, kind of like sporadically move around and
Yeah.
twinkle. We had those too. But the older I get, the more I just want a classic white
yeah,
light.
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't want it to do anything fancy.
Mm-mm.
Doesn't need to,
I'm getting a tree this year.
I know. I'm so excited for
Good
you.
for you.
I'm so excited for you.
Villain won't do anything. He's the laziest cat ever. He's
Yeah.
just gonna like look at it and then look at me and be like, "What are you doing?"
Why are you doing all this work?
Well, we got stories.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Who wants to start?
I'll go first.
Okay.
Okay. So I met this guy on Bumble and he was great. We talked for about 3 days before he asked me out for that night. And I agreed to meet him at a restaurant. We went to dinner and had a great time. We clicked so well. We talked about everything. He had a small family, one roommate, a great job. He seemed perfect and I was so into him. He picked up the check and asked if I wanted to go back to his place, that his roommate was out of town so we could watch a movie, and I agreed. We get back to his place and I noticed how tiny his apartment is. Then I realized it's a studio. Then I realized there's only one bed. I asked about his roommate. And you could see his face flush, and he was trying to think of something to say. He stumbled over his words for a second before he looked defeated and said, "My roommate is my wife."
Oh no!
I said,
But okay, here's my thing. Listen,
not a roommate.
don't lie. Just don't lie. First of all, but if you're going to. Think ahead better than this. Okay? Like, why even bring up a roommate at all? Why not just wait until your wife is out of town and then be like, do you want to come over to my apartment? Like, there were so many ways. You fuck this up for yourself. How dumb do you think girls are? Girls think about everything. We never forget fucking
walk into
anything.
a studio apartment with one bed and not think that you and your
roommate are like fucking Charlie in the Chocolate
Exactly.
Factory.
Head to feet.
I said, "I'm not judging you, but I'm not into being a third or being part of an open relationship." He cut me off and said, "Oh, no, you misunderstand. It's not an open relationship. So you're just cheating then, because I'm not interested in that either." He started going on a pity rant about how his wife doesn't have sex with him anymore.
Oh, boo
and
fucking
he's
who.
so lonely. I walked out in the middle of his rant. He tried to texting me and calling me for a few days before giving up. I was so disappointed and stayed single for a long time so I could reevaluate my taste in men.
Sounds like a
Amen.
conversation that you should be having with your wife.
Exactly.
How about
Ugh,
that?
Cowards.
Ugh.
Gross.
Gross.
Okay. So this one was sent to us via email, and she says, "Please call me Alex in honor of my smart feminist scientist friend who has had to spend far too much of her precious time correcting men. A few years ago, I was subjected to the most insane, incorrect, and alarming mansplaining to ever grace this good earth. I was casually seeing a guy who had started going to college after a stint in the Navy. I was surprised that an ex-military man had such a sexy, spiritual vibe about him. I remember the red crushed velvet blanket on his bed, his various candles and incense, and his side hustle making organic body butter.
Okay.
It's a lot. It's a lot to take in. Also, imagine slathering yourself in body butter and then getting on crushed velvet. Ooh, you're so sticky now.
So sticky.
I don't love it. Unfortunately, I think all those delicious scents went to his head. One night, we were talking about sexuality, and the conversation turned very bad very fast. He began by observing how, quote, crazy it is that women walk around with a hole inside us that's pulsating and throbbing and yearning to be filled.
Oh,
That's
okay.
no,
That's not what we do.
Oh,
not
it
how
gets.
this works.
Do you wander around or you're like
just throbbing.
Just throbbing.
I'm just
all day.
throbbing all the
Just
time.
needs to be
Actually,
filled. God, what? He must only read romance novels.
Oh my God.
He then said female orgasms occur when fallopian tubes. I'm sorry.
What?
When fallopian tubes shake to release an egg.
Oh my
That's
God.
That's when you get an orgasm. Is it just?
God. What?
What kind of back asswood health class did this guy?
This is why
subscribe
sex
to?
ed is important.
Yes.
Oh my God.
I expressed concern about what that meant for my egg count. LOL. If every time you had an orgasm,
Drop an egg.
you were just dropping eggs like left and right.
Oh my God.
But he told me not to worry because women produce infinite eggs throughout our lives. That's not how that works.
Infinite.
Finally, he told me that it is the sperm that forms the baby's brain and spine, which is obvious because a sperm is shaped like a baby's brain and spinal cord.
Wow.
Okay.
That was both our worst and last date. How do you make it to adulthood?
Yeah.
How are you an adult grown human man and you have that little understanding of female anatomy?
Of just
of anatomy
biology
in general.
and-
Yeah.
Basic
exactly.
biology.
That's,
Wow.
That's like a homeschool biology class if I've ever heard.
Wow.
One.
Good thing
Sorry.
you don't-
And that, I'm
Hey,
not, I know.
I
don't
was
wanna take away-
homeschooled. Listen,
I know.
That's not representative of that. I bet you money that this guy went to public school.
Oh,
I bet you
probably.
fucking
You're right.
any
You're
money
right.
he did.
You're absolutely right. Dude, I remember our sex ed, and they segregated the girls and the guys, gave us different one, and I'm like, those guys are out there thinking that stupid
Well, and they absolutely
ass shit.
didn't talk about orgasms at
No.
all.
No.
So
we weren't separated during sex ed.
Oh.
So maybe
We
it's-
were.
Maybe he went to Catholic school.
Yeah, that's true. It's probably private school.
I went to public school and we were separated and we didn't talk about shit. Like it was all about just like, here's how you put a pad on.
Exactly.
Like that,
It was
that's
about
what sex
periods.
ed was. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh.
it wasn't really about sex. It was just
No.
like, yeah.
It's weird because I did go to kind of a small school and, you know, and just as many churches as gas stations, kind of small town. So it's wild that, I mean, I remember the putting on the condom talks, like all that. I mean, like it was like legit.
Oh, they
sex
straight
ed,
did
talking
not
about, you
teach
know.
us how to put condoms on at all.
Nope.
No. I mean, they did teach us about like the fallopian tubes and eggs and
Yeah.
things like that. But
Yeah,
but the
they-
boys probably didn't get that talk.
No.
So
No, I think the boys were with us when we did that.
not in mine.
Not of mine.
really.
No.
Yeah, we were segregated. We watched like a movie about periods.
Maybe
and
I'm misremembering, but I'm pretty sure we were all in the same room. I'm,
Maybe
like,
you just had a real
flashing back.
progressive principal. He was
Yeah.
like,
I don't know. They probably got letters.
This one I found in a really fun thread on Reddit. It was all wait staff talking about worst dates that
oh,
they've
amazing.
witnessed.
Oh my God. I want all of those stories.
I was crying laughing because there's somebody that did wait tables
Yep.
for years and have witnessed my share of just awkward human interactions. It was
and then having
the
to be
best.
like, so do you want the breadsticks now? Or?
Should I get you guys boxes? So this guy says, so this dude was waiting in the parking lot singing and playing guitar when she arrived. Can you imagine showing up for a first date and the guy's just like
No.
on the back of his Kia?
No.
But you know what?
This is my nightmare.
But you know what? Like I almost feel for him because
don't.
you know where that came from? That came from watching romantic comedies in which that would have been very romantic behavior. And in the real life, it just doesn't translate.
He was dressed very formally, except for his sandals.
No, honey. If you're going to do it, then do it.
He's got a suit and sandals.
If you're going to do it. Did he have socks on too?
Oh, no. He says they ate and drank. He got up and squeezed in next to her on her side of the booth.
No.
Don't like that at
This is
all,
the worst.
ever. Like, Cassie, this is your worst date. You're
my
literally
nightmare. If he brought me balloons, this is the only thing that would make it worse.
She was trapped. She looked mortified the whole time. The whole thing was completely cringeworthy.
Oh my God.
Fucking hate it.
Oh my God.
And I would have walked up and given like the wrong name. You're Andrew?
Andrew? Oh, no.
No, not me.
Not
Sorry.
me.
No, they probably
do I
know
look
each
like
other.
Oh,
And it was probably a thing where like he's been trying to go out with her forever.
Oh, goddamn.
And so he was like, this is my chance.
Oh,
Shoot
I
your
have
shot.
I have to pull out all the big guns.
I gotta pull out the sandals. I gotta pull out Wonderwall.
They're his lucky sandals.
You're my wonder wall.
Oh my God.
Oh,
The
you
only
know.
song that every boy in your high school learned on the acoustic guitar.
Everyone knows that song.
God.
I guarantee you could pick up a guitar cold right now and you could play
Yeah,
that
your
song.
fingers would just know what to do.
By instinct. Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Okay, so I got another one. This is a shorty. All right. I was talking to a dude on Tinder and decided to meet up with him for coffee one day. Seems safe. He only talked in impersonations of WWE wrestlers.
No. No.
Woo!
No.
Okay, would you rather
Okay.
have a guy play the acoustic guitar
Oh.
for you in public or
Oh.
only talk to you in WWE
Oh,
wrestlers?
Jesus
WWE
Christ.
wrestlers. all
I'll
day.
take the guitar, actually. I think I would want to die if a man
because
only talked
here's
to me like that.
Bonus. Then he asked her to go to WrestleMania with him and his entire family that night.
Absolutely fucking not.
Keegan, I want you to go to WrestleMania
Oh,
someday.
my
I want to go with you, and I would just want to watch you watch WrestleMania.
Like, how drunk do I get to
Just
be?
sit there with your tea hair on.
How much wine do I get to drink before we go?
Yes.
And like also with someone's whole family.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the type of family that goes to WrestleMania together, I'm like, I don't. I
With
I
a
don't-
date?
No, I'm not
yeah.
doing it.
I don't like that.
Oof.
Oh my gosh.
Okay,
Hulkmania here.
ready yourselves.
Okay.
When I was a senior in high school, I went out with this guy after school. We grabbed some smoothies, smoked a blunt, and we're planning on doing the boop, which I don't like that as a phrase for
Doing the
sexy
boop?
time. BOOP.
Oh, boop. No.
I don't like that for sexy time.
No.
But
That
anyway,
makes me think of Arrested Development, where
feel-
he's like talking about having pop in the attic, and he's like, if you have to call it pop, like that tells me you're
oh
not
my
ready.
God, absolutely not.
Boop makes me think it's something like my mom would call it.
Yeah,
I do that
don't-
to people's nose. I'm like, boop. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Maybe that's what she meant.
That's not
maybe
what I
that's what
want
they
you
were
to
doing.
do. Oh, maybe.
Maybe she didn't
That's
need sex.
actually what they're doing.
They're like actually
They're
just
like,
boop, boop, boop.
It's so cute. Okay, anyway, they were planning on hooking up.
Got it.
Until he picked a zit when he thought I wasn't looking, and while his face bled, he licked his finger. I thought I was going to puke.
Oh my God. There's nothing less boopy.
I really have to calm myself down. That is-
9-1-1.
I don't like that. I don't like that at all.
Oh my God. As someone who's a face picker,
Oh God. Yeah.
I can't even imagine.
Oh. No, we're done. We're moving on. Okay, so I'm gonna. Oh God. Oh my God. I can't. Ugh. Okay, this one. This is kind of heartwarming. So okay. I had a two-top in a small booth, and across from them was a family of 6. The two-top was in their mid-40s, maybe 50. I was delivering food to the 6-top, and I was being berated for not using legs with my big trays. Now, you guys know the legs are the stand, and you put the big tray on the stand. So I grabbed a pair, and I headed off. When I was setting the legs down, a stacked plate on my tray shifted to the side, and the whole tray pitched toward the 6-top. I panicked and tried to stop it from falling, and it all went backwards off the tray.
Oh my God.
No.
Unluckily, I didn't hear a single
plate shatter. I turned around and the woman at the two-top had rib sauce on her face, mashed potatoes on her boobs, broccoli all over her lap. I started with, "I'm so sorry, ma'am. Please stand up. We'll get you all cleaned up." My six top was completely forgotten at that moment. I pleaded with her to get up so we can clean her off. Someone produced a towel for me. I had 2 managers trying to help.
This is my nightmare. Oh my
She
God.
was so polite and insistent that it was nobody's fault. And her husband finally said, "At least wipe the sauce off your face." And she laughed and got up. Everything was comped on their ticket, including alcohol. It was the only tray I ever dropped, and they never made me use legs again. They came back in and asked for me the next week.
Oh my God.
The husband told me they were celebrating 30 years together that night. I felt horrible. Then he told me on their first date she had dumped spaghetti all over him.
Oh.
And that was like the perfect celebration for them.
Oh my God.
That was like heartwarming.
That's cute.
That's a good one to end our holiday.
Well, I was also like, oh my gosh, that's like, like usually someone's going to be like all up in arms and like all Karen on that.
Oh,
and she was
yeah.
just
I'm
like
not.
so
I would be
cool.
her.
I would be
I'd be upset, but
Yeah,
I would not. I would.
you would know somebody
know
didn't
it's a mistake.
dump ribs on you on purpose.
And you know
what I mean?
no matter how uncomfortable and bad you're feeling right then, the person who just did that to you is horrified. Like that's always what I think, and I'm just like, I will always be the person who's like, no, it's fine, because I know that they feel,
Of course,
so
terrible.
bad.
Yeah.
This story just triggered a memory for me that it has nothing to do with dating, but it is so funny to me. Just like the idea of somebody making a mistake and how devastated you'd be, like, oh my God, dumping something or doing something like that you'd just be like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. One of my old coworkers, we worked downtown on High Street, and we parked in this parking lot that was like, you faced each other. I'm doing it with my hands.
Yeah.
But so it was like a row of, meters, a row of meters, and you came in and you could park on both sides facing each other. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So my coworker, was a little dingy, she, instead of hitting her brake, putting it in reverse, had put it in drive and slammed on her gas and hit the fucking meter, and the meter flattened and hit the hood of the car on the opposite side of her. And then she came inside to work and she goes, the guy was really pissed off. He was like, I told him it was an accident. Like, I didn't do it on purpose. Like, she was like indignant that he was so upset about it. Like, it was a mistake, like an oopsie doopsie, like, she was just like, I'm like, yeah, but you didn't even act like at all that you were like sorry or like.
No, I require you to be
oopsie-doopsie.
sorry if I'm going to be gracious about it.
Yeah.
Which I will always be gracious about it as long as, because I usually the person is very apologetic. But I will say, yeah, if she had dumped that tray of food on me and then was just like, I don't understand like what the big deal is.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I can go from Keegan to Karen real fast in that situation because
How fast can Karen? It takes me a while. Like, I had to really push on the gas to get to Karen, and especially like in a situation like that. But
I always try to find, like, even like when I think the place that I could get Karen real quick is like a concert, like any place that's really overly packed with people, because I think that it only takes a little bit of courtesy. Like, if you're walking through people, say fucking excuse me. Just say excuse me.
Yeah.
Nothing pisses me off more than just people fucking just blatantly running into you and not like,
Well,
use your fucking words, motherfucker.
I think the issue here is people not being considerate.
That's it.
Like, because if you drop a plate of food on me and I can tell that you're like
Wrecked by it.
mortified.
then of course I'm like, oh my gosh, no, not at all. But if you drop it on me and you're like, what about it? Oh my God. I will lose
I'll
my
tell
shit.
you what about.
It's the same thing with like people in the grocery store, same thing.
Yes.
Like, oh.
Use your words. Use your words. If I'm in your way, if you need something. Oh my God, I have to tell you this story. Sorry to sidebar again, but this is so funny. Chris told me the most introverted thing I've ever heard ever. And I was like, this is such a Christina move. Okay. He goes, you know, like when you're he says to me, you know, when you're like at the grocery store and you're like reaching for something, but somebody else is like in the same area and like grabs for something. So you're like, oh, I'll just take this thing. He's like, that's how I got the wine that you got this time, because the one I wanted to go for was too close to where somebody else was grabbing for something. I was like, I literally looked right at him and laughed out loud. And I said, no, I don't understand that, because I would have just waited. Like, it is such like an introvert thing to do, to be like,
this is fine. This is fine. Yeah. This is far enough away from other people. From strangers.
Imagine.
Yeah.
I'm like, Krista, no, we'll appreciate this story more than anyone.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh. Well, if you have stories, you just want to reach out to us, go to our Patreon, go to our social media, all that. You can go to our one-stop shop of a website. It's myworstdatepodcast.com. And thank you so much for listening. We love you.
Cheers.